problem isn't that you're not disciplined enough. It's that your life isn't supporting you. Now, most men might hear that and they may feel like it's relief because deep down, you know you've been trying. You've been pushing, you've been holding everything together, doing what you're supposed to do. And yet, things still feel heavy. And here's why this matters. Most men, they don't fail because they quit. They actually fail because their life demands constant effort just to stay afloat. Every day, it literally feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill. And the moment you're tired, that you're stressed or overwhelmed, everything slips. Not because you're weak though, but because willpower was never meant to carry a life by itself. So I actually want you to stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'm actually going to show you how to stop relying on effort and how to start building a life that actually supports you, especially on your worst days. If you're a hardworking father or a hardworking man and you're watching this, I already know the pressure that you're under. You're trying to provide, you're trying to stay strong, you're trying not to let your stress leak onto your family. And I'm sure somewhere along the way, you were actually taught this lie. If I'm struggling, I just need to push harder. I can tell you that was me. I was grinding through all my debt. I was carrying responsibility with no margin for rest. And I was relying on effort instead of structure. And I'll be honest, I didn't realize it then, but I honestly wasn't weak. I was just unsupported. And that distinction, it does change everything. I remember this season in my life where I was carrying everything, it felt like. I was working, I paid all the bills. I covered my entire household because my wife, she was in college at the time, and that's just the season that we were in. But if I'm being transparent, it didn't just stop there. I was also helping family members that were outside of my household. Everyone, they needed something from me, and I felt like I had to hold it all together for them. In my mind, on paper, I was doing everything that a man is supposed to do. But it honestly felt like I was constantly holding my breath. And I'll tell you, I never felt lazy though. And I didn't feel undisciplined. But I felt tired. And I felt tired in a way that sleep couldn't fix. Because everything in my life, it depended on me basically to be on all the time. There was no structure for me to lean on. There was no system to catch me on my bad days. And that's when it hit me. The problem wasn't that I wasn't strong enough. The problem was my life, it had no support built into it. So there's a shift that reframes your entire life. Most men, we don't need more self-control. We just need better systems. Willpower, it's limited, but systems, they're sustainable. A supported man, he doesn't rise because he's tougher. He rises because his life is designed to hold him up, especially on his worst days. So I actually want to show you why most men, they were never taught how to build that. Most men, we were trained to endure, but we were never trained how to design. I can tell you, we were taught how to survive hardships, but not how to build support. So our lives become reactive by default. I can tell you, when you grow up in chaos, you don't trust systems. You trust grit and you trust pushing through. But grit without structure, it always leads to burnout. And that's when typically someone tells you that your systems are going to box you in. So what you do is you avoid them. And eventually you start blaming yourself instead of questioning your environment that keeps breaking you. And I'll say this, there's a truth that most men never hear. You don't fail because you're broken. You fail because your life is asking too much of you without support. And that's why we honestly have to redefine what systems actually are. So let's clear this up. A life system, it's not a schedule. It's not some productivity hack, and it's not optimization. A life system, it's a set of supports that reduce friction, that conserve energy, that honestly protect your peace. A real system, it doesn't just work when you're motivated. It works on your worst days. It works on those days where you're tired, on those days that life hits you and it turns you sideways. And I want you to hear this part very clearly. If you're already overwhelmed, you don't need 5 systems. You need some, but not 5. You just need 3. And I'll say this, the order does matter, because if you try to build these different systems out of order, you're just going to quit. And I'll tell you, it's not because you're weak, but it's because your foundation it's not stable yet. All right? So I want to say this plainly for you. You're allowed to start small. In fact, that's actually the point. These systems, they don't add pressure, they remove it. And each one, it actually sets the foundation for the next one. All right? System 1 is the daily stability system. And remember this always comes first. Before you fix your money, before you fix your schedule, before you fix your mindset, you first have to stabilize your nervous system. Because a man who feels unsafe, mentally or emotionally, they're always going to operate in survival mode. In survival mode, it makes everything harder. So what this system actually looks like is it creates predictability. It reduces internal chaos. It calms your body. It gives you something solid to stand on every single day. And again, this isn't about productivity, but it's about safety. An example of what this would look like in real life is every day it has one start anchor and one end anchor. For example, you wake up every single day at the same time and you give yourself 5 to 10 minutes. And that 5 to 10 minutes is used to ground yourself. No phone, no noise, just presence. And at night, you do the same thing. You shut down rhythm, you dim the lights, and you have a moment of short reflection and decompression. Same rhythm, same order, same intention. When your day starts and ends the same way, your body, it actually stops bracing for impact. And I can tell you, there's a cost if you don't start here. If you skip this system, your emotions, they're going to stay reactive. Your stress is going to stay high. Your mind is going to constantly be scattered. And every other system is going to feel hard. And you're going to keep asking yourself, why can't I stay consistent? I'll tell you this, it's because consistency doesn't come from discipline. It comes from feeling safe enough to repeat behaviors. And once stability is actually in place, more things, they become obvious. Now the next system, which is system 2, is the decision filter system. All right. And this is where that overwhelmness feeling, it actually starts to lift. So once your nervous system calms down, you start noticing the real energy drain, and that's decisions. Most overwhelmed men, they aren't idle, but they're exhausted from things like too many commitments, too many expectations, too many yeses that cost them later. And this system, it closes mental tabs. And there's filters. There's filters for this whole system. You got to stop asking, can I do this? And you need to start asking, does this support the man that I'm becoming? If it costs you your peace, your clarity, your integrity, it's too expensive. An example in real life would be someone asks you for your time. A new responsibility shows up. An opportunity sounds good, but it honestly feels heavy. An old response, it would sound like, I guess I can make it work. But a new response would be, does this move me forward or does it pull me back into survival mode? If it pulls you away from your family, your health, or your stability, don't negotiate with it. I can tell you, do not negotiate with it. But what you need to do is you need to decline it. That's honestly leadership, all right? And I can tell you this, there's a cost of not installing this system also. If you skip this, you're going to keep leaking energy. You're going to keep overcommitting. And I can tell you this, you're going to keep resenting obligations that you agreed to. You'll feel busy, but never aligned. Capable, but constantly drained. And nothing kills confidence faster than betraying your own presence. But even with good decisions, men, they still drift unless they actually have this next system. System 3 is the weekly reset system. Now, it prevents relapse and quiet burnout. Most men, they don't collapse all at once. They don't. They drift. They get tired. They lose awareness. And one day they realize, I'm behind all over again. Now, the weekly reset, it stops that drift. What this system really does is it creates awareness without judgment. It turns life into feedback. And it keeps small problems from becoming big problems. It's not about fixing everything. It's about not abandoning yourself, though. An example of what this would look like is once a week, same day, same time, you ask yourself, what drained me this week? What supported me this week? What needs adjusting next week? That's it. No shame, no spiraling, just small corrections. And guess what? There's a cost of not doing this also. The cost would be burnout, it builds quietly. Misalignment, it goes unnoticed. Survival mode, it creeps in again. Men, they don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never stop to course correct. Men, they relapse when they never reset. And let me say this because some of you are thinking it right now, I'm sure. You already understand this, but you're not sure how to apply this into your life. That's exactly why I offer a one-on-one clarity call. Now, it's not coaching and it's not pressure. It's a conversation where we look at certain things, where we look at where your life is unsupported. We look at which systems you actually need to start with and what to simplify so you're not carrying everything alone anymore. So if you want that support, the link is below. It's no obligations, it's just clarity. I'll say this, once you have these 3 systems in place, then you need to decide what's non-negotiable, but not before. So your non-negotiable should be few, simple, and stabilizing. Maybe things like sleep, daily anchors, weekly resets, integrity. Everything else, it stays flexible. Because I can tell you this, rigid systems, they break men, but supportive systems hold them. And this is an area where most men don't realize till they've experienced it. Support, it doesn't make you softer, it makes you steadier. A supported man doesn't rely on motivation. He doesn't panic under pressure, he doesn't abandon himself, he doesn't feel constantly behind. He still works hard, but he's not fighting his life anymore. His energy, it lasts longer. His decisions, they feel clearer. His nervous system, it isn't on edge always. And life, it honestly feels manageable again. You don't need to be tougher, man. You've been tough your whole life. You just need support. And that's not frailness, that's actually wisdom. And if this is your first time you've ever thought about life this way, you're not late. You're just evolving. I can tell you, this channel was never about fixing you, helping you stop carrying everything alone. I can say this, or I want to say this. You're not defeated, all right? You're not inactive. You're not failing. The moral is, you were just unsupported. But now you know how to build a life that holds you up. And honestly, that's how real growth lasts. So if this helped you and you want support applying this into your life, like I said, I offer a one-on-one clarity call. The link's below. This channel exists. It exists for men who they're done surviving. And they're basically ready to build a life that actually supports them. Later.